Hello students. So this is the second video of this chapter. So in this we are going to cover up the petroleum part of this chapter. Now the question again. So we have discussed the coal part, that how the coals are going to form. So now how these petroleums are going to form and what was the process behind the formation of this petroleum. So almost the process is same, but yes, little bit difference is there. So what is petroleum basically? So it is a dark colored thick crude oil found deep below the ground in certain area. So petroleum is a word which is having two small words like petra, which is means rock, and oleum means to say oil. So these are the oil which are present inside the two layer of the rock. So that is why it is called as petroleum. Now the thing is, petroleum was formed by the decomposition of the remains of tiny plants and animals buried under the sea. So this is a change which is, different from the coal formation. So these are the products which are going to form from the tiny plants decomposition and animal decomposition buried under the sea. Now the thing is, the petroleum formed got trapped between two layers of impervious rock forming an oil deposit. So basically petroleums are present in oil deposits, and these oil deposits are present between the two impervious layer of rocks. So impervious means to say which are impermeable, which are not going to allow any passing of liquid through it. So these are the rocks which are impermeable rocks. So now if we discuss how these oil and how these gases, obviously both the things we are going to discuss in this particular slides, how these oils are gases are going to form. So normally these oils are going to be, they have formed uh, because of the burial of the phytoplanktons, as you can see, and algae and the animals which are present in the sea. So these animals, after they are dying, they sink at the bottom of the seabed, and due to the what we can say, due to the accumulation of layers of sediments, as you can see, these are the burial part and these are the sediments, brown color sediments, which get deposit onto its surface. So ultimately, because of the deposition of these sediments deep inside the sea, what happened, so these dead part of animals and tiny plant get buried under the multiple layers. And because of the same process of coal formation, high temperature and high pressure, because of this, these dead part of the animal and tiny plants converted it into the oil. So ultimately this oil was formed because of the same process of high temperature and high pressure, but this time the residue was of the dead remains was of animal and tiny plant. So this is how this petroleum has going to be, this has been formed by the process of this. Okay, now where these petroleum are going to exist, where these going to be, petroleums are going to occur in our earth crust. So basically petroleum is extracted by drilling holes, that is called as oil wells, in the earth crust. So normally these oil wells are traced out, with the help of survey. First of all, we have to identify, we have to locate the area where these oils may be present. First of all, survey is being done and then extraction is being done. So basically these oils are present, as I have already told you, these are the oils which are present between the two impervious rock. So here you can see, this is the first impervious rock layer and this is the second impervious rock, and inside this is the oil deposit in which petroleum is present, and parallelly and simultaneously, not only petrol but natural gas is also present in this vacant space. So this is the oil deposit, and with the help of this drilling ring device, we can take out the petrol through this well like structure, pipe like structure. Now if we talk about the occurrence of petroleum in India, so India is having four major sites where this petroleum products or petroleum is available. So first is the Assam, in which Makum is the area where this I mean location where this oil field was traced out, and it was the year 1867 when this oil field was traced out in this Makum area of the Assam. Later on, this was in the Gujarat region also it was located, and again yes, in the basin of Godavari and Krishna river these petroleum oil fields are present, and yes, in the Mumbai High, earlier it was Bombay High, so here also it is this petroleum oil field is available. Remember, these crude oil which we are getting in the form of black liquid, it is also referred as black gold because it is very valuable kind of substance, so that is why it is also referred as black gold. Okay, now this petroleum product, this petroleum or crude oil which we get after the process of extraction, so after this refining process is to be done for this petroleum crude oil. So the process of separating crude petroleum oil into more useful fraction is basically known as refining. So what is refining? So it is a process of separating crude petroleum oil into more useful fractions, so that is basically called as refining. Now the thing is, this refining process is generally carried out in factories or in the industries which is known as oil refineries. So these are the oil refineries which do this refining, and the process which is involved in this refining is basically known as fractional distillation. Remember, fractional distillation is a process for the purpose of refining. So refining is done with the help of fractional distillation. Now what is this fractional distillation? Let us understand. So it is a process in which fractions of petroleum having different boiling point ranges are collected separately. So this is the process. So fractional distillation is a process in which the products, the various fractions of the petroleum is separated out on the basis of the principle that these fractions are having different boiling points. So like this, so fractions are having different boiling points. Why these fractions are having different boiling points? So the answer is because it is having different number of carbon atom present in it. So different fraction is having different boiling point. And why these are having different boiling point? Because the number of carbon present in every fractions is differing. So it may be having the carbon in the range of 4 atoms, it may be having the carbon in the number of 10 atoms, so like this. So these are basically having different in their carbon number, and because they are having different carbon numbers, so that is why their boiling points are of having various ranges. So less carbon atom means to say less boiling point, so that point you have to consider. Okay, now let us see how this fractional distillation can be done. So before fractional distillation, the crude oil is basically, so this is the crude oil as you can see, and this is the furnace. So in the refinery, so this is the total setup which is present in the refinery. So we are having refineries in Panipat in Haryana. Oil refinery is present in Panipat. So there also you can see, first of all, this is the storage tank where crude oil is stored, and now this crude oil is passed into these pipes which is a part of furnace. So in furnace basically heat is applied onto this crude oil so that these whole content of crude oil is heated well above 500 degrees Celsius. So at this temperature this crude oil is heated. Now when we are heating this crude oil, so the maximum content of this crude oil will become vaporized. So they will convert into the vapor because of heat. This will convert into the vapor. So one more thing is present in this refinery process is this cooling tower. So this long setup you can see, this is the cooling tower. So everything is basically done by this cooling tower. So remember, when the vapors will go up, they will start they will start cooling. And when these gases or vapors will cool down, so they will cool down into the liquid content that is known as condensate. So for every in the tower you can see these are the various trays like structure. This is the first tray, this is the second, third, like so. On every tray we will get the different type of liquid. in the different form. So these liquids are having different composition of carbon. So these are the fractions which we will get at different trays, and these trays are arranged at different height. So now let us see this whole process. So first of all, this crude oil is to be heated at more than 500 degrees Celsius, and after that what will happen, the crude oil will convert into the mixture of vapors. So whole vapor will be having mixture of various type of what we can say carbon substances, and these vapor mixture will then pass into this cooling tower. So what will be the effect now when this vapor rises up? So they will rises up and they will cool at different height. So at different height they will cool, and obviously when they will cool, they will convert into the liquid or into the condensate form. So this liquid or condensate will be collected out in separate trays. So remember, these liquids are going to form, or these vapors are going to convert into the liquid depending upon their boiling point. So the liquid with high boiling point, the vapor with high boiling point will separate out first, and the vapor with low boiling point will go up in the tower like this. So ultimately, if you can see over here, this is the clear picture. So ultimately, this vapor which is coming from down from the bottom of this tower, like here, this is the tower. So this is the segment which we can see. So it is going to be condensed into the liquid, and this liquid can be taken out through this nozzle, these outlet points. So for every, you can see these are the various channels or outlet points from which this fractions is going to come out on the basis of their condensation. So like this. So vapor are going to condense and change into the liquid state, and they are going to be collected at various height like this. So as you can see in this table, so first of all asphalt, then fuel oil, then lubricant, then gas oil. These are the various products like kerosene, naphthas. They are going to be collected in this cooling tower at different height, and at the end you can see these are the gases which will remain in the vapor form, and they will come out at the end from the last nozzle like this. So these are the gases which is known as petroleum gases. So ultimately these are the various fractions which we will collect after doing this process of fractional distillation. Now if you can see, so I have told you, so these are the various products which are going to be collected after the fractional distillation, and these products I have already told you will be separate out because of they are different in their boiling point. Now as you can see, this high boiling, I have already told you, high boiling point liquid is going to separate out first. So this is the order. First this will separate out, then this, then this, then again the last one. So petroleum gas will be the product which is going to be come out in the form of gas. It will not going to condensate into the liquid. So ultimately this is the gas which we are going to collect in our cylinder, and yes, it is basically liquefied into the form of liquefied petroleum gas, that is LPG. So this is all about the fractional distillation of the crude oil. Okay, now the thing is, these fractions of petroleums are having various uses. Like petroleum gas, which is collected at the top of the cooling tower, it is basically used in our industry and houses for the purpose of burning as a fuel, and it is having main composition, that is of butane, which is 74. I mean the butane part is present in 74%. Rest of the part is like methane, propane gas. So maximum content is of butane. So the example I have already told you, it is normally sold as LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Second thing is the petroleum. So it is used as fuel in the light motor vehicles like motorcycles, and yes, kerosene, it is used as fuel in stoves and in aeroplane also. With the high quality kerosene, we can use it in the aeroplane purpose. And yes, fourth one is the diesel. So it is used as fuel in heavy vehicle, or in the case of generator also, it is diesel. And fifth is the lubricating oil. So it is used for lubrication in machine and engines. So these are the various use. Not only this, but yes, we can get the product of paraffin wax also. So these are the products which are used for making candles, which are used for making Vaseline, grease. So these are the various products that can be produced with the help of this paraffin wax. So now the last one is the bitumen. Bitumen is basically used for road making. It is again the part of the fractional distillation product. Okay, now we are going to study about the next segment, that is the natural gas. So I have told you natural gas is again going to produce, they are going to available in the same area where this petroleum oil or this oil field is present. So I have already told you this natural gas is present just above the oil field in the space present between the rocks. So normally natural gas, remember natural gas is different from the petroleum gas. Don't get confused, because natural gas is basically having 95% of the methane, whereas the petroleum gas composition was the butane, which is available in 74%. Okay, now remember this natural gas again, it is I have already told you, it is formed due to the decomposition of remains of plant and animal by anaerobic bacteria buried under the sea. And yes, if we talk about the occurrence of these natural gas, so these are available in this area of the oil field. I have already explained you oil field. So this is the area where this natural gas is present. So this natural gas can also be taken out from this oil field with the help of drill pipes. Okay, now if we talk about the occurrence of these natural gas in India, so these are the again sites where this is available, like Tripura, like Gujarat, Rajasthan, Delta of Godavari and Krishna river. So these are the area where this natural gas is present. And now if we talk about the uses, so the best use of natural gas is to make it compressed, and it can be stored easily basically with the help of compression, and it can be known as CNG, compressed natural gas. So it can be transported easily with the help of compression. So that is why it is known as compressed natural gas, and it is in short it is known as CNG, and it is used as a purpose of fuel, no doubt. And yes, the emission or the product which is going to be we will get after the emission of, I mean after the burning of these fuel, that is CNG, is carbon dioxide and water. So it is very less polluting fuel. So that is why it is nowadays used in the vehicles of NCR area, CNG, so that the pollution level can be reduced. And yes, it is used for making fertilizers also, as it is a good source of hydrogen gas. Okay, this natural gas, remember, it is also used to make many other chemicals like petrochemicals. Remember, this natural gas is used to make many other chemicals like petrochemicals. And yes, these petrochemicals are the chemicals which are obtained from the petroleum and natural gas. That is why these are petrochemicals. And the examples are like methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, formaldehyde. So these are the various type of petrochemicals which can be produced with the help of these petroleum and natural gas. And yes, there are many purposes where we can use this petrochemical, like detergent, fiber, fertilizers, perfume, insecticide, etc. So these are the things where petrochemicals can be used. Now the topic come in your syllabus is preventing energy crisis. So what is this energy crisis? So you know very well that nowadays the population is increasing at very high rate, if we talk about the world population or if we talk about the Indian population. So no doubt the demand of energy is increasing day by day, because population is increasing, and no doubt nowadays we are using much more technology, and which we are having some technology which is, again, the power is required to run that technology. So that is why our energy demand is increasing, and very soon there will be a crisis of energy. So because of that reason, so we have to avoid this energy crisis. So how we can avoid this energy crisis basically? So it can be avoided by two methods. First is not wasting the energy, and second is we can do some use of some efficient method to reduce the need of, or you can say, use of energy. So the not wasting energy, we have the points like switching off light, fans, etc. when it is not in use, using of air coolers, air conditions, room heaters, geysers only when it is needed, reducing the flame while cooking and when the water start boil to save fuel. So these are the common practices that we can use in our daily routine life, so that we can reduce the wastage of energy. Similarly, we can have energy efficient methods. So in which we can use LED bulbs in place of tube light or in place of normal fluorescent bulbs. Like we can use public transport instead of private vehicles. We can use pressure cooker. We can for cooking. We can use efficient smokeless chulhas, and we can reduce the cooking time by soaking pulses. I mean, these are the kind of steps that we can take in our daily routine life, and it is going to conserve the energy very much. And ultimately, it is going to, I mean, the main purpose of our to avoid the energy crisis can be done with the help of these steps. And no doubt, what are the advantage if we talk about the advantage of preventing this I mean methods, by doing this method, it will delay the energy crisis, so obviously, and it will give our scientists more time to develop more efficient alternate source of energy. So nowadays, you know very well, we are totally relying upon the fossil fuels. It is very common. And yes, if we are going to use this fossil fuel with the same speed, so obviously in the next 100 years we will be, I mean, the whole type of fossil fuel will be, we will lost all this type of coal and petroleum products, so it will be finished up very soon. So that is why what we have to do is we have to conserve this fossil fuel, so that we can obviously we can generate more amount of energy. And yes, how we can conserve this fossil fuel so that our energy demand can be met? So obviously we have to switch on to the alternate source of energy, and these alternate source of energy are like solar energy, like wind energy, like biomass energy. So these energy like biogas even also can be used. So that means we have to switch on to the alternate source of energy to obviously to avoid this energy crisis ultimately. And not only this, switch, I mean, if we are going to trace other type of energy like alternate source of energy, so obviously it is going to reduce the pollution also. So this is also a type of advantage of switching to the alternate source of energy. So this is all about this topic of this coal and petroleum. Now we are going to discuss the question and answer part as per the exercise given. So the PPT and the PDF will be shared to you regarding this.